Hey human, welcome back to my universe. If you ever felt at home in two places and nowhere at the same time, this video is for you. I just spent a month between Argentina, where I'm from, and Berlin, where I live. And suddenly I felt like my heart split between continents. And it was really hard to process because I've been living in Europe for almost 6 years now, and I think I have a very solid group of friends here and a group of friends back home, but my family still remains in Argentina. I'm like the only one here. So although I'm very lucky that they get to travel, I feel like this was the first time that myself and my family, we allowed each other to be honest in that communication and say that we miss each other and that it's really hard to be apart all the time. And maybe we all were dissociating to not face the grief that comes with having someone that you love so much so far. Like my professional life is here, but like my romantic or loved one, if you can say, it's there. In Berlin, I feel comfortable, even grounded, and I feel like my family realizes that. But every step that I take here reminds me of the people that I left on the other side, and they're still supporting me, even if I'm not physically there anymore. I think it's really hard for me to accept that I've been living a life where I had to move on from countries to move to the next step. Because I feel like normally we frame it as evolution, you know, like when you're evolving someone, a relationship, a job, it's like, oh, they were toxic for you. But I feel like this was never the case. I'm not moving on someone that I love because they have remained in the same place and I evolved. It's just different paths, and you have to accept that you're not going to be with people all the time, and people associate that with death, but it doesn't have to be death. It can be choices. And I always say, like, my method of making a decision is like, if I understand 100% of it, which we never do. People say you have to be 100% sure. I disagree. I feel you have to be 51% sure, which means it's the majority of your reasoning and your power. But there's a 49 that you're aware that you're sacrificing in order to do that 51 that you're choosing. So that 51 becomes even stronger because you're sacrificing something in order to get that 51. The part that nobody talks about is that coming home, it's like missing one another. It's like missing myself when I'm there and missing my family there. And every city that I've been living and every friend I had, every dinner, everything leaves a weight, because in a good way, I have friends that I met like 15 years ago in Germany and China, and I'm still friends with. And like, you know, some friendships last because you see them in the day-to-day, and that's what's lovely about them. It's like they're part of your daily life. But in some cases, I believe, or I choose to believe, that there are timeless friendships. Like, there's some people that you haven't seen in like 5 years and you meet again and the friendship never moved. Like, you were stuck in time. And it doesn't mean that you didn't evolve, and that goes back to my earlier point. It's just people that are always gonna be there for you. And that's what makes it like heartwarming, but also very sad. But I realized this month that my suitcase isn't just clothes, you know, like it's packed with emotional luggage. And it's from both worlds. Like, I had so much emotional luggage from my family and my experience in Argentina that I didn't even get to process here. I process every time I go back. And I hope that's a universal experience, because otherwise I feel like every time I go back, I go crazier and crazier. Not to say traumas, but the experiences that I had here while I was in Europe, not just Berlin, also left me with like emotional baggage that only my family can help me understand, because they knew me from my whole life. They knew me when I was up, they knew me when I was down, and I love when that happens. I just don't feel that it's fair to load so much energy in neither of those cases. I'm choosing to live a life now that feels balanced regardless of where I am. That home is me. Love is me. I say in Spanish and Argentinian, el amor sos vos, y el hogar sos vos. Which releases you from that external validation or that external weight that we put on stuff. Like when I get that job, when I get that house, when I get that whatever it is that will make you happy. Because you realize the internal happiness comes from trusting yourself and not lying, not getting sick because you're eating up all your words, and to not, disrupt the peace, you keep quiet. I don't think that's happening anymore. And I think I realized that thanks to being away from my family and away from those dynamics, and also being able to go back and see it from an outside perspective and to be able to heal. Because in a way, it's like we talked about it the last time I was there, like literally a week ago. It's not that I feel like I know more than them, but because I'm not engaging with them on a daily basis, I love them. And I feel like even if we get in a stupid fight, that my family are like the closest people. Like if you meet my family, and everyone that knows my family says this, we are the coolest, the most united family. And it makes me so happy to say that, because I don't want to cry. I did it on Instagram, I'm not gonna do it on YouTube. But it also made me realize, like, I love them. So my dad always said, like, what do you want to achieve with this? Like, it was always like a condescending question, which is not a great example, but he meant it as like, why are you gonna do something if you don't like the outcome? And I think for me, I always say, like, I love my family. So even if I'm trying to challenge them, or I feel like I'm causing problems, or like I'm causing a fight, it's always coming out of love. And it's coming out of, I want us to love each other. And I want us, if we fight because we are hurt, that we express that, then we dissociate just to survive. I don't think that's a healthy way of living in any aspect, right? And I think that came with this decision as well. Like, being split into 2 countries made me address, like, yeah, everyone's dreaming of the remote life and whatever. It is not as simple. There's a lot of happiness, but there's a lot of sadness. And I don't think even myself, I understood it, and I didn't even understand it or give the time to process it as I am here until this last time that I was in Argentina. Like, I had to dissociate 5 years of being away because it was such suffering to be a part of your family for such a long time. Like, I am one of the lucky ones that I get to see my family once, twice, even 4 times a year. And I know people that live in the same city and they get to see them every weekend. Sounds crazy, but for expats, I heard people that don't see their family for 5 years. That's crazy. Even if you think you hate your family, you have the worst family, you still love them and you still want to see them. Being an expat isn't just about moving cities. It's about living 2 lives and speaking 2 languages and loving 2 worlds and never fully feeling like you belong here or there. That's what I feel right now. And I actually feel like I love both. And the hardship of being human is I cannot be in both places. So I need to accept the good in here and the bad in here. And when I'm there, I have to accept the good in there and the bad in there. And like be grateful that I have the choice to choose both. That's what's magical about this life. I didn't know I was gonna get this hypey about this conversation. If you wanna know my best trick for finding home again, it's so stupid, but it's like little rituals. Like journaling and cooking a familiar meal. I don't know, messaging someone across oceans. Like, it's so stupid. But if you're an expat listening to this and you don't do this, you will feel so isolated, because just by doing this, you feel so connected. I have like literal like fridge magnets, one of tango and one of Messi, just to feel some connection. I don't know if it's showing on the camera, I have a mate set that my best friend gave to me. And I don't drink mate. I started drinking mate because he did that. And it was so lovely. And now I drink mate. But you know what I mean? Like, it's things that maybe as an Argentinian I wouldn't do back home because I didn't care or I wasn't passionate. But when you move abroad, you have a longing for your calling, for your ethnia, whatever the word is. And it's so healthy and it's so natural and it's so powerful. I don't know for you, but maybe this split has become my superpower. Like learning how to build home wherever I go, like with new routines and new friends and all memories stitched in from all the love that I carry with me. I don't know if it was Maya Angelou or I'm confusing, but I think it was her that she said in an interview, like the reason why she had such powerful presence is because she always envisioned carrying with her loved ones. Like she would say, "Come grandma, come with me." That's how I feel. I've been, for the past year, saying that I feel my grandpa with me. I feel both my grandpas. I even feel my grandma now. It is such a powerful feeling to feel like your loved ones are your guardian angels and they're keeping you safe. In my case, it's not that it's special, but my grandparents from my father's side, they were opera singers and they lived in Europe. And my dad always said their dream was to go back because in Argentina we have a beautiful theater called Teatro Colón, but there was no opera scene when they moved. So they always kind of felt like the move was not the best move. And I feel like although I got to meet my grandma and my grandpa passed away from pancreas cancer when I was very little and I didn't get to know him. Like I was born with this weird family God call feeling, karma, whatever you want to call it, that I just feel so connected with Europe. And it doesn't come from this elitist thought of like Europe is better. It's just there's something when I'm here, I'm the same person, but I'm like a center, authentic person. It's a different energy from Ivan than what I normally give at home. If your idea of home keeps shifting, or if you're building yours on the move, stick around because I'm on that journey and I'm almost about to find the answer. I don't know it yet, but I'm very open with my journey and I want to share it because I know there's a lot of people that feel this way because I had this conversation with so many individuals from so many nationalities and so many cultures. So that's what inspires me. So human, maybe we'll be until next week where I will welcome you back to my universe.